Hello, and welcome to this short video that unpacks considerations for choosing a keyword for a phoneme. In the Grade 1 B2.3 specific expectation in the Foundations of Language strand, students will identify, read, and spell most common grapheme-phoneme correspondences of consonants and vowels with automaticity. Many instructional approaches to teaching grapheme-phoneme correspondences use keywords. These are a visual scaffold for students. They can use the image of the keyword to help them remember the corresponding phoneme. In this example, the image of the apple supports students in remembering the A sound for the grapheme A. If you're choosing keywords to support your phonics instruction, here are some considerations you may want to keep in mind. When choosing a keyword, it's important to select a word that has a clear image that is not easily mixed up. We want students to immediately be able to identify what the keyword is when they see a picture. We wouldn't want an image that could be many different words. For example, the word table is easily visualized. A picture of a table means it would be unlikely for a student to give a different word for the picture of a table. The word over is not as easily visualized. It's difficult to have a clear image of over that would prompt students to easily say, that's over, and identify the O sound. When choosing a word, we want to make sure that it is in a student's vocabulary. It may not be all that useful to use a keyword of a yak, for example, since many students might not know what that is. This is also a key consideration for multilingual students. We as educators need to know our students and the unique strengths they bring to our learning. Whenever possible, try and select words that have the target phoneme in the initial position. For example, the word up would be better than bug for the short U sound, since it's more salient for students to hear the at the beginning of up, as opposed to in the middle of bug. We want the target phoneme in a keyword to be as distinguishable as possible. When selecting words for a consonant grapheme phoneme correspondence, try and select words that don't have the target sound in a blend or a combination of adjacent consonants. These are harder for young students to process. For example, if we were choosing a word for b, the word bug is better than brush, since brush has an initial blend, br, which makes it more difficult for students to distinguish the b sound than in the word bug. Here, you'll see a chart with 5 short vowel sounds with example keywords as well as non-examples. For short A, apple is a good option. A picture of an apple is easily identifiable. It's in the initial position, and it is easy for students to identify the sound a. Ant is not a good keyword for short A. Ant doesn't have quite as clear of an a sound since the nasal distorts the sound of the vowel. Notice apple versus ant. For short I, we could use itchy as a keyword. We wouldn't want to use ice cream since it doesn't actually provide students with an example of the short I sound, eh. For short O, we would want to avoid a keyword like orange, since the R in orange distorts the short O, orange. For short U, up is a better option than bug, since is in the initial position in up, making it easier for students to identify. For short E, we want to avoid using common keywords like elephant or egg. For elephant, the sound is hard for students to notice since it sort of flows into the l sound, elephant. For egg, some pronounce it as egg, depending on dialect. So for some students, egg wouldn't be a true representation of the short E sound, eh. Thank you for listening and for continuing to build your understanding to meet the needs of your students.